Welcome back to Mountain Connections. Right now we are joined by actress Connie Giordano. She can be seen currently in HBO's Mare of Easttown. Very exciting new show with lots of twists and turns. Connie, we're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. It's nice to see you, Christine.
It's great to see you, great to connect with you, even though you're on a whole nother coast. I'm looking
Yes.
forward to hearing more about this role in this intriguing series. But before we get to that, I'd love to hear more about your career. You've done many things in film, on stage. As you look back, what are some of the highlights?
My career has primarily been on stage. I was in New York City for many years doing what I call trench warfare theater. It gave me my acting chops, it gave me my training. But in the last 10 years or so, I have focused more on television. I have a recurring brand on HSN. But right now, it's all about Mare of Easttown, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to be a part of this show.
So tell me more about the show. Let's start with just in general.
Okay, sure. So it's the story of a detective in Easttown, which is it's a made-up town in the suburbs of Philadelphia. But the writer Brad Inglesby actually based it on his own experience. He grew up in this area, and so Easttown is really a combination of a bunch of small towns in the Philadelphia suburbs, particularly in Delaware County, which you've probably heard a lot about. The story all really focuses on the area where she lives, which is Delaware County, or Delco. And so it's a story of a police detective who battles her own demons as well as the mystery she's trying to solve in the show.
And you play Patty. I'd love to hear more about your character.
Sure. I play Patty DelRasso. My husband and I own an Italian restaurant, and we have a daughter in high school, or a daughter. As I said before, I have to work on my Delco accent. And so we play restaurant owners. My character's also a nurse, but our daughter is central to the one of the main plot lines of the show, and that Mayor Kate Winslet is trying to solve the murder of a young high school girl. And I'm not going to give you all away all the secrets, but my daughter is perhaps involved.
So far, 2 episodes have dropped that you can watch right now. And I loved watching them, and I'm so looking forward to seeing what happens next. But that's what's hard, is we can't give anything away. And there's, as I mentioned, twists and turns. It's this crime, this mystery, this history of this small town that you are very much a part of. I'm curious, what was it like being on set with all of these really big stars like Kate Winslet? How was it working with the cast?
Oh, just terrific. Everybody was so professional. And I know people say that, but they really were. I mean, Kate was a delight from the minute I met her. And, you know, she had such a huge job. I mean, she was on the set probably 15, 16 hours a day, you know, and she would always take the time to come in and say hello to everyone in the trailers. And we really appreciated that. She was so professional. I mean, I had one moment when we were in our very first rehearsal. We had a table read. And I did have one moment where I'm sitting next to her, and I thought to myself, I'm sitting next to Rose. But I got over that very quickly and just concentrated on the story and my role, which was just a delight.
And within this show, it's very dark. There's been already a missing girl, a murder, a potential another murder, actually. How do you act within something that is so dark? Are there some challenges with that? How do you bring in some light and positivity to a storyline that's really difficult?
That's a good question, Christine. You know, it's up to the writer, and you have to bring to the table your personality, but ultimately you have to honor the writer. And Brad, I think his intent was to keep this story intense so that people couldn't wait. Just like you said, they can't wait to tune in next week. You know, I had some friends over to watch the opening episode, and I was watching them watching the TV because, of course, I knew the story, right? And I mean, they were just intent. You could hear a pin drop with the quiet in my living room of everybody besides the TV watching so intently. And I think that's what he was going for. There are moments of lightness throughout the story. My character actually has some comedy here and there. But I think Brad and Craig Zobel, the director, who did a wonderful job, I think they really wanted this idea of intensity and it's a kind of cat and mouse. And so I think they got what they wanted to do. They really honored the story, and they kept that momentum going that's keeping people like you intrigued.
It seems easy to connect with these characters and to get very involved with who they are and where they're going. And as you watch, you can tell that you really do need to pay attention, as you mentioned, because there's meaning behind everything. And you just get that sense from the very beginning. And we know that your character appears in more episodes. Very exciting to watch and see. Anything else that we need to know as we embark on the rest of this season of this great show?
I think, Christine, just be ready for a ride. What I really enjoyed when I first read the script was that I kept thinking I knew what was going to happen, and I was dead wrong. So just buckle in and get ready for a wild ride.
And Connie, how can we find out more about you and follow along with what you're doing, your career, past, present, future?
Sure. Well, of course, I'm on Instagram, Connie Giordano 3, Facebook as well. You can check out ConnieGiordano.com, and that has lots of sources to my clips and resumes from my other shows I've done and what's coming up. So feel free to check that out anytime, ConnieGiordano.com.
Thank you so much, Connie, for joining us today here on Mountain Connections on Park City Television. Looking forward to continuing to watch this great show, Mare of Easttown, and also to follow along with you. We once again appreciate you being here today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and we are excited to follow along with the show and with everything that you're doing. We'll be back with more right here on Mountain Connections right after this.